Hey, how's it going, guys? I'm Paradoxic, and welcome back to DC's Harley Quinn. This time we're on episode 4 of season 1. Last time we had Harley on the lookout for a crew. She was trying to build a crew after finding out that she wouldn't be accepted into the Legion of Doom. So the underground, what was it, the underground? I think the underground talent agency, the agency that actually helped supervillains hire crews and whatnot, and actually recruit people into their teams, wouldn't even give on to her after they found out that she had broken up with Joker, because apparently the Joker was her one ticket into the more official leagues of crew recruitment. So once they found out that she was an independent woman who didn't need no man, they cut her loose, and so she had to fight to gain her own recognition and fight to build her own crew, and which she did. She did. By the end of the episode, she built a crew so far consisting of 2 other people, Clayface and Dr. Psycho. Now, Clayface, I get. Clayface, he's, like, in the episode they introduced him in alone, he was, like, a great character. He was really interesting. He was a thespian, so they gave him one role, and he took that role to hell and beyond. In terms of like character development and character backstories, and even when they went up to Max's use to try and defeat him and send a message to Gotham that there was a new crew in town, he, fell in with Zeus's tricks of pretending to be his long lost son and everything. So Clayface, okay, he's an enthusiast, he's an extraordinaire, he's a like a villain in his own right. Dr. Psycho, I mean, the way they introduced Dr. Psycho in the episode wasn't the greatest for his image. Like, he was fighting Wonder Woman, and he called her the C-word, and then he went on live television to apologize for it, and then he ended up calling his wife Giganta the C-word. So, he doesn't have the best reputation within Gotham, so I don't know how, Harley's gonna get by and, be taken seriously having him on her team. Whether or not they address that going forward, I don't know, because again, this is satire. This is entirely kind of like a parody of what the characters are and what their stories are, which makes it no less fun. But yeah, I don't know how that stuff's gonna go down. But Clayface and Dr. Psycho were there. Poison Ivy, I think she was reluctant to begin with, and not only that, but she also sent Harley to the Queen of Fables to discover her story after Harley expressed interest in being the leader of her own crew, and also trying to be a big league female supervillain. Like, female supervillains don't really last very long. Like, if you're a male supervillain, they lock you up and then let you live to break out and commit crimes another day. But if you're a female supervillain that breaks the glass ceiling, then they put you away more permanently. Like, the Queen of Fables used to be a powerful sorceress, and then she ended up being cast into a textbook. So yeah, but Harley, that's not going to happen to Harley. That is not going to happen to Harley. She actually got most of, like, more than what she wanted. She wanted a crew. She got the crew. She wanted the message sent out. She got the message sent out, and even used a warhead and traded that with the mayor in exchange for having a highway named after. So she has the Harley Quinn highway now. There's actually a highway named after her supervillain alias. So she's got more than what she bargained for, and it is very much everything that she wanted. So I think going forward, like, we might see them conducting more heists, and in turn, Harley giving Ivy more confidence in her and her crew, and then hopefully having Poison Ivy actually joining the crew and spending more time with Harley too. Maybe that might be. Hopefully that's the road they go down. But yeah, we had that stuff, and yeah, I think that's pretty much it. These episodes are fairly short, but I do like that they still managed to pack so much quick, snappy, concise, and it's hilarious. It's great. It's great. So yeah, on to episode 4 of this season. So yeah, if you guys want to catch the full length reaction for this episode, that'll be over on Patreon. Just need your own copy of the episode, and you can sync it up, and it'll be good to go. But yeah, that is it. So on to episode 4 of Harley Quinn. Let's go. Okie dokie. I wonder if the credits will show up. Okay, yeah, Cyborgman. Oh, Cyborgman. Jason Alexander. Cyborgman, I don't know who that is. King Shark, Ron Funches, okay. Alan Tudyk as Joker and Clayface, yep. David Bader, Tawny, Joshua, Lois, Natalie Moranes. Jacob Tremblay as Robin. I knew it. Jacob Tremblay as Robin. Sean Gambrioni as Joshua. Okay, I know him from the Goldbergs. He's in the Goldbergs. Okay, yeah, okay. Alright, that's cool then. So Jacob Tremblay is Robin then. He is Robin. Okay. So yeah, King Shark. We meet King Shark. King Shark is in this. I think King Shark, I'm mostly familiar with him from The Flash. In that one, he's nothing like he is here. He's very, very growly, very guttury, and very much like an antagonistic character. At least in the beginning, there's in the more recent, in his more recent appearances, he does actually work towards becoming somewhat of like a protagonist slash anti-hero. So in this one, he is the tech whiz. He's the computer whiz, which is one of the reasons they keep him around. But also, he is King Shark. He's known. He's very, very known throughout these circles. But yeah, the twist came when he said that he wasn't that kind of shark. For one thing, he didn't really swim around being all menacing and stuff. He wasn't that kind of shark. I thought it meant he couldn't swim, which I thought was really weird, especially because he has like a fin on his back. But no, he said he wasn't that kind of shark when he doesn't swim around looking all menacing and stuff. And especially that he doesn't do too well around blood and, eat stuff like that. That just reminded me, before I saw him in action, it just reminded me so much of, I can't remember what his name is, but the shark from Shark Tale, the one that Oscar befriends. Oscar is the main fish, he's the main character, but the one that he befriends, he's like a vegetarian shark. He doesn't eat fish. He pukes at the thought of eating fish, or eating other fish, and he doesn't do well around blood. He's a vegetarian shark basically. Like he reminded me very much of that, and Clayface and Dr. Psycho even said that, like when he mentioned being faint at the sort of not doing well with blood, they thought he just got faint and just passed out something. But no, when he smells blood, he becomes the great white shark. He just goes on the hunt for the source of the blood and goes manic and hungry and everything. So yeah, so that was definitely different. But King Shark is now on the crew now. I think that is a very welcome addition, especially after seeing him in the Suicide Squad trailer. I think that one definitely felt different too. I think I watched that long before I saw him in this. So seeing him in that, he had like a much lighter voice, much more like a quippy personality and everything. So seeing him in that was very different. I think seeing him in that prepared me for this. This was still a surprise, nonetheless. But seeing him in that definitely prepared me for this. So it's good to see. I think this personality suits him more for the tone of this show. Like this show isn't meant to take these characters too seriously, so I think they can have more fun with him with this personality and in this kind of context. So it makes a lot more sense to see him like this. I think he might still be. I mean, he's in the upcoming Suicide Squad too, and he doesn't really look overly dangerous or menacing in that. He has like a very, very kind of chippy, chipper, quippy kind of stance in that. So that's cool. But yeah, King Shark. We have King Shark, and he's going to be officially joining the crew. We don't even have a name for them yet. I'm waiting to see if she maybe actually creates a Suicide Squad. I've been wondering like what she might name her crew, but I'm wondering if she also might just like create the Suicide Squad, or because I think the Suicide Squad the Suicide Squad has its own kind of official roster anyway, and not really too many of the characters in that team are on the show yet. Like Deadshot, Captain Boomerang, we have King Shark. King Shark is there. Anyone else who might be in it, like they're not here as of yet, so we've yet to see them. And I think once she then gets more official members, gets more recognition, and people actually ask who she is or what their crew is, then she might say, "Oh, we're the Suicide Squad," or we're something. I think Suicide Squad feels more suitable given comic canon and whatnot. But I don't know. I guess we'll see. But King Shark is a part of the crew, so that is very cool. So yeah, Harley needed recognition, like proper recognition as the leader of her crew, and as her crew was out doing bank heists and whatnot, they weren't getting any attention because they didn't have a nemesis. They didn't have anyone trying to stop them, so they didn't have anyone thwarting their plans and making those thwartings known. So she needed a nemesis. So now she has a crew. She needs a nemesis too. Every supervillain exists because they have a nemesis, and every a hero is a nemesis, and every superhero exists because they have a villain as their nemesis. So yeah, it makes sense that she needs like an enemy of her own to constantly escape the grips and clutches of every time she executes an evil plan. So Superman is off limits, Batman is off limits, Wonder Woman is off limits. All the major players are off limits. So she had to. I think for now it would make sense that she would maybe go for the smallies, because I was thinking like, how about the Titans? How about like Nightwing? How about I wasn't thinking Robin as in Damian Wayne. I didn't really think we'd get Damian Wayne. He's a kid. I'm aware of him as being like a kid, as being the literal like miniature son of Batman. of Bruce and Talia. So Damian, I think as soon as Robin came in, I was like, oh great, it's Robin. Maybe we get like, Dick Grayson or maybe like Tim Drake or someone. But then I take in the actual size of this Robin, and then he starts talking, and I'm like, this kid is a kid. He's a kid. It's like when you hear Spider-Man's voice in Civil War for the first time, even in the suit. Like you're like, wait, he's like a teenager. Right? He's like in high school or something. He's not really equipped for like a Civil War or anything like that. So hearing that and seeing that, it's like, are we sure this kid is ready to be a hero, let alone a nemesis? Like, he's Robin, sure, and he's Damian Wayne, so he was actually raised among the ranks of the League of Assassins, but still, he's a kid. He's Damian Wayne. Like, it's not the most promising of nemesis material. But I was thinking, like, like, go for the Titans, go for, like, Nightwing, or, like, yeah, like, go for Nightwing, or like, even better, like, shit, like, or, like, that would have been a much cooler route to a cooler route to go down. So like like all the solo heroes have like solo villains. Like Superman has Lex Luthor, Batman has the Joker, Wonder Woman has I think maybe Circe. I think is her biggest kind of villain. So then with Harley, it'll be like oh, you guys only have like one villain chasing after you. I have an entire you guys only have like one hero chasing after you, or one nemesis to fight. Oh, I have an entire team coming after me. It takes more than one person to try and stop me. Like that would have been the cooler kind of tagline to go with. It only takes one person to stop all of you, but it takes a whole team of superheroes to stop me. Like like Nightwing, maybe maybe Damian as Robin by his side, and like Wonder Girl, Aqualad, Cyborg, because I think he is kind of canonically with the Teen Titans, and then Beast Boy, Raven, Starfire, everyone else. Like that would have been cooler. But alas, the Teen Titans were mentioned. Robin did mention at the very end. He said he even said at the very end, all the Teen Titans, all the other members of the Titans actually have Nemesi. I think maybe Nemesises just sounds wrong. Nemesi, like they all have Nemesi besides from him. So he even feels bad not having an nemesis of his own, like just being the son of Batman, just being Robin, just having no one to actually personally fight with on his days on and everything. So I think the Teen Titans would have actually been a cool nemesis group for them to have, and actually also your first nemesis. Like your first nemesis being an entire group of people is pretty badass too. Like right off the bat, you need like an entire team of heroes is required to be able to actually try and take you down. That's a cool tagline. Like you guys start off and carry on with just one person with weapons or magic or bombs and shit. But I have like an entire team of people like working together to try and stop me and my crew. That's pretty badass. If you ask me. But yeah, and even with the cameos that came, we had like Aquaman just sat on what looked like a throne or a toilet or something, just watching this whole thing. Aquaman with like the long blonde hair. If they'd gone like brunette, then they could have actually pulled off like a Jason Momoa. But I think they didn't really want to go that far. But they still pull off like long blonde hair. And then we had Wonder Woman on the couch eating cereal and everything. Like this just had a bunch of cameos, and we even had her kidnapping Lois and trying to recruit Superman as her nemesis and everything, and then Robin still showed up at the end. So I think Robin going forward, Robin might still be her nemesis. I think going forward, Robin might try he like Robin himself might realize that the only way he can be taken seriously as a hero is to have a nemesis, and he has to go for what he can get. So he still kind of chases after Harley and still tries to fight her and everything. So yeah, I guess we'll see how it goes. But having Robin in and Jacob Tremblay playing him, that is a very, very interesting casting choice. I haven't really seen Jacob in anything this kind of. I mean, I haven't seen him in any comic book roles at all, to my knowledge. He's been in a bunch of different stuff. I think most recently I saw him in Good Boys, the movie he did with like two other boys. So I think his voice alone was very, very familiar. And he just has that kind of voice, like especially for like a child, like he's definitely like a child actor that's very, very up and coming. He's getting more roles, more recognition. And he was beyond amazing in Room. That is undoubtedly his kind of stardom role. So hearing him in this, I think his voice is very kind of unique as well, and his voice is pretty like ingrained in my head, and I can kind of recognize it from the first few seconds. So Jacob Tremblay as Robin is an interesting casting, especially for Damian. I think Tim Drake. I think he still sounds young enough. His voice doesn't sound like it's broken yet, or even if it has, I think maybe it's not broken like fully. Like it's kind of they can still kind of modulate it somewhat to sound high pitched enough, and especially I think for Damien as well. I imagine that if they do like adapt Damian Wayne stories or Damian Wayne, like media appearances for TV shows or movies or games or whatever. I imagine if they do that, then Damian himself as a character, he is like a miniature Bruce. He's a miniature Batman, so he has that darkness and edginess to him. So even if they do, I think the best way to do it might just be showing off that he is a kid with that edginess. So like making him drop a bunch of F-bombs or making him actually make a really really gruesome threat to a villain while still maintaining that kind of squeaky high pitchedness to his voice. So that actually, I think that actually works in his favor, showing that he's a kid, but he's a kid who knows how to kick your ass, and he actually will, and he makes all these threats and stuff, and they're not empty. So, yeah, but Jacob Tremblay voicing Robin is a very interesting choice. But hey, he did a great job. He did a great job. So yeah, that was great. That was great. And they mentioned almost like a love triangle with Joker, Batman, and Harley, because I think Batman, because she kidnapped Robin, she drew Batman's attention, and Batman went to there to save his son, and then he actually went to fight Harley, and then Ivy showed up, the girlfriend showed up to save Harley, and then that ensued in like another kind of tag team fight with them, and then Joker was still robbing a bank in the midst of it, expecting Batman to show up and try and stop him, but he didn't, and then he found out what was really happening, and then he showed up, and then it was like the audience and was it Tali? I think it was Tali. I think that's her name. Tali. I think she turned into like a whole kind of like nemesis love triangle thing, like Batman, Joker, and Harley all fighting over one another and fighting over who gets to keep who's nemesis and everything. And then Joker kidnapped Damien, and then Batman had to go after him. But then even when Joker knocked Harley, even when Batman knocked Harley on her ass and then actually threw Ivy on top of her, and then they landed on top of each other, these subtitles immediately changed to be like, oh, is this going to happen? Is Ivy going to be a thing? Like, even they know, even they are pushing that context together, like, oh, it could happen. I mean, we very rarely get supervillains falling in love in an authentic and genuine and actual, like an actual supportable kind of way, because Joker and Harley is not in any way supportable. So we rarely get characters like people like that falling in love. So maybe they could be partners in literal crime. Maybe they could actually be authentic and genuine partners in crime. That would be amazing to happen. It would be amazing to see that happen. So yeah, I think that is. I think I like those little kind of teasers, and especially I think it also helps that it actually starts off with Harley and Ivy kind of having that kind of chemistry to begin with. Like, it's not them pushing it together just because the in-show audience sees it, or because the audience in watching Harley Quinn sees it, but it's because the characters themselves have great chemistry, and the characters themselves actually care for one another deeply, especially with Ivy. She cares about Harley. She doesn't want to see her get hurt. Like, from the very first episode, she was fighting to liberate Harley, her mind and soul, from Joker's grasp and his kind of abuse and everything. She was fighting to liberate Harley and to show her that she was independent and that she could get fight for herself and stuff. So from the beginning, Ivy has pretty much been in love with her. So I think it's actually becoming more and more clear going forward that these guys are pretty much more than just friends, and it's great. So I love the way that they're developing it. And even Harley or like even Ivy saying, even if it was in even if it was like a platonic delivery, her saying like, I'll always be here to clean up your freaking messes. So don't worry about any of that. But yeah, it's fun. It's really fun. And last but not least, Cyborg Man has evicted Ivy from her apartment on the grounds of having King Shark as a pet, because he's been going back and forth from her apartment. I mean, pets can't talk, and they can't stand upright or wear clothes or work computers. So I don't know like exactly how he drew the conclusion that King Shark must have been some kind of a pet. But either way, he did, and he evicted Harley he evicted Ivy from her apartment, so she's lost her apartment, her literal greenhouse apartment with all of the plants. I mean, I wonder if, she'll probably have to take her plants with her, because her plants came from her and not the actual. I mean, they could have come from she bought the plants from elsewhere and then actually nurtured them with her own magic and powers and everything. So she has to still. Her power, her influence has reached the power of the plants more than their original kind of base has. So she has to take them with her. But now that I think, that will definitely, now that she's been evicted from her apartment, I think that would definitely kind of give Ivy the incentive. That would definitely give Harley the incentive she needs to actually find a secret lair now. So she's got the crew. she's presumably got the nemesis too. Now she needs a lair. Every superhero and supervillain and super group needs a lair. Like no matter which side of the law you're on, you need a lair. Maybe even one that's under. I mean, I don't know if it could be under the like underground. I mean, it could be underground maybe, but I don't know if she has the money for that. But I mean, she robbed like a bunch of banks, and she said that she could buy Ivy like a few like a Ganucci or Noguchi, like those glass tables that she broke like 3 times in the episode. But I don't know if she has the money for it. She can get like an underground lair, and if she can get an underground lair, then she can get it under the Harley Quinn Parkway, but the Harley Quinn Highway even. But if not, then she has to find like another lair. But I think that could be the next step, finding herself a lair, like a base of operations, and set up some computers that King Shark can actually operate from and stuff. I would love to see King Shark in the field a bit more, but I mean, yeah, I mean, because I mean, Harley did even say that after seeing him in action, after sniffing blood, she couldn't just say no to that kind of skill set. So I think it'll be like a very, very kind of mixed field, like him operating when necessary, but otherwise being the guy behind the screen and everything. So that would be cool. That would be cool to see. But yeah, that is pretty much it. So now they'll need to find a super secret lair and move forward with all their super secret villain group activities. So that'll be fun to watch. But yeah, that is pretty much it. It was a fun episode, really great episode. Good to see all these different characters and cameos popping in and out and helping to boost stuff forward, and good to see some more Harley Ivy content as always. But yeah, that is pretty much it. So that was Harley Quinn Season 1, Episode 4. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed it, then salt and burn that like button. Comment on what you thought of the episode and what you think is coming up next time on Harley Quinn. Once again, the full-length reaction for this episode will be over on Patreon, so you can go catch that one over there. And yeah, that is it. So I will see you guys next time.